Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best lethality users right now in this patch. Now, if you guys don't know, lethality did get a really big change in this patch, as well as Edge of Night and Duskblade also did get a change. So it did make quite a few champions a lot stronger in this patch. So in this video, we're going to go over which champions you should be building this lethality build on and which champions are the best with it. So with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so the way we're going to do this video is we're going to start off in the top lane, then go to the jungle, then mid, and then AD carry. And then obviously for support, there's not really any lethality users down there, so we won't be covering the support role for this video. So in the top lane right now, the best lethality users are Jace, Wukong, Riven, Quinn, Pantheon, Gangplank, Jarvan, and Talon. So all of these champions are really strong in this patch if you have pretty good knowledge on them. Like obviously if you go straight into ranked with Gangplank, you're not going to do too well with him, or like with Riven. But if you do know these champions really well, then you should be going for the lethality build on them in this patch instead of like crit Gangplank, or instead of like going for a little bit of a different build on Riven. The build of Youmuu's into the Edge of Night and then usually Duskblade after that. You could swap the Duskblade for like a Black Cleaver if you're playing someone like a Riven or a Jace, but a lot of the time you do want to get those 3 lethality items at some point in the game. And then if I were to rate these champions here and give you like my number 1 pick and number 2 picks for this patch for top lane, I would definitely say that right now Jace is your number 1 pick. I would be looking to pick or ban Jace if he is open for top lane. He's just really strong with the lethality build. After that, I'd probably say that Pantheon is your second best bet. He's just a very simple top lane pick. His ultimate's great for roaming, and he's also super strong with lethality. And then most of the other champions are around the same tier, I'd say. So someone like Riven or Gangplank or Talon or Quinn, they all do take a little bit more skill to play, and they're not super easy top laners that you can just pick up right away and start stomping on. So any of these top laners are great, but don't just play them because lethality is strong. Play them if you do know how to play the champion. And moving into the jungle now, the best lethality users in this patch are Rengar, Kha'Zix, Nocturne, Shaco, and Graves. And I guess you could also throw Jarvan in there, although I do think he is a little bit better in the top lane. So right now in this patch, if Rengar and Kha'Zix are left open, then you should probably be looking to pick them up. If they're not in your champion pool right now and you don't really know how to play them, then you're kind of losing out on some free elo in this patch. And then as for Nocturne, Shaco, and Graves, I would say that Graves right now is super strong if you can play him. The lethality build on him and the one-shot potential you have with that build is super good. For Shaco, I think he's actually really underrated because he does definitely benefit from the Duskblade a lot more than the other junglers that would be building it, since whenever you do come out of stealth with Shaco, you're guaranteed to get that true damage proc off from the Duskblade. And then for Nocturne, I think with the addition to Edge of Night, Nocturne is just so much stronger now because his main weakness was he'd dive in and he'd get CC'd right away and not really be able to do anything. But you can now use your Edge of Night before you go in with Nocturne, and you're basically guaranteed to assassinate whichever target you do jump on. And if we take a look at the mid lane now, there aren't really too many mid lane picks that are super strong with lethality. The only ones that I can really think of are Talon, Zed, and Jace. So right now, I think these champions are just super strong in this meta because the most picked AD carries in this patch are Jhin and Varus. They make up like over 50% of the time one of those champions is gonna be picked for AD carry. So it's just super easy pickings in team fights for a Zed or a Talon to just ult onto that Jhin, ult onto that Varus, and just burst them down. And then as for Jace right now, I think that he is definitely underrated in the mid lane. He is seeing quite a bit more play in the top lane, but for mid lane, you can surprise your opponents like with the damage that you can do. If a mid lane player isn't used to playing against the Jace, then you can definitely take advantage of that and look to all in them in the laning phase. He is also seeing play right now in the pro scene in the mid lane, so he's definitely a great pick either in the top or the mid lane right now. And then if we take a look at the best AD carry lethality users now, these are going to be Varus, Jhin, Misfortune, Lucian, and then I did see Reckless play lethality Ezreal in the LCS. I'm not completely sure how strong this is though, and don't take my word for this one. If you do try it out in ranked and you do end up feeding, then it's definitely not my fault, but it's something pretty interesting for sure, and it's something that I will have to try out. And then if I were to rate these AD carries here from the best to the worst that I would recommend picking in this patch, I would say that Misfortune is your number one. Right now she does have the highest win rate for any AD carry, and with these buffs in this patch, her win rate did go up. And then as for my second pick, it's either between Jhin or Varus. It just depends on which AD carry you do know how to play more. If you're a Jhin main, then obviously pick Jhin over Varus, and if you do know how to play Varus, then he's a great pick too. And then for Lucian, I don't think he's exceptionally strong in this patch. The lethality buffs definitely did help him out a little bit, but he is still sitting at a pretty crappy win rate. He's one of the lowest win rate AD carries in this patch. If you do play him well though, and you do have a lot of practice on Lucian, I still think that he can be pretty good right now. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below if you do think I missed a certain champion. If you are playing a different champion in this patch that is going for the Youmuu's Edge of Night Duskblade build and I didn't talk about them in this video, then let me know down in the comments below. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.